Ever since Sonic took that leap to a third-party franchise, most installments have gotten multiple versions, some that are better looking and perform great, while others play like they got the dev kit 2 weeks prior to launch. Today, we're on a quest to find the best way to play every single mainline Sonic game, and while I'm gonna focus on official releases, I'll make sure to point out a few of the more impressive fan recreations when we get there. Let's do it. The classic lineup of Sonic games is playable on just about every console ever, and while all releases were not created equally, these games aren't very demanding and can run on anything. The best official release, though, is in Sonic Origins. They're all made playable in full widescreen, with cleaner visuals than ever, and run remarkably well on all modern platforms. I thought that was pretty uncontested, but when I said that in a previous video, someone brought up the very valid point that the different music tracks in stages like Carnival Night and Ice Cap hinder the experience a good bit. And while I'd normally refute a claim like that, the music in the Sonic series does do a lot to enhance the experience, even in the worst of games. So if soundtrack's a big deal to you, 1, 2, and CD are flawless in Origins, but play Sonic 3 and Knuckles instead either on the OG hardware or in Sonic Mega Collection for the GameCube. But again, these titles can be emulated and run on basically any PC, and with the fan project Sonic 3 Air, it's the objective best experience, even if it's not official. Sonic Adventure is very much stuck in the past. We're in dire need of a remake, or at least a modern port, but it's not super likely. When they did port it, it was to the GameCube back in 2003 with Sonic Adventure DX, and the reception for this one is really mixed, and that's putting it nicely. Most say it's inferior to the original on the Dreamcast, despite it getting a complete graphical overhaul that somehow looks worse, but it does add a lot. A more consistent 60 frames per second, where the original only supported 30, you got an all-new mission mode, and enhanced Chow Garden, friggin' Metal Sonic playable if you get all the emblems. There's quite a bit to make this one special, and if you play it on the GameCube, it's the best official means to experience the game. I know most of the redesigned areas look a little worse, so you won't enjoy the hub world as much, but I never did anyways, and for a Sonic game, I really want that crisp 60 FPS gameplay, and since this version gets me closest to that, zipping through these levels feels its best here. Now, they did end up porting this version to Steam in 2011, and that's still what's available for purchase almost 15 years later, but this release is worse in almost every conceivable way. It somehow looks worse, with lighting issues and low-res textures, and there's even more bugs. It almost feels like they went out of their way to make this version inferior. But I do have to mention the better SADX mod. It gives the game a mad glow-up to resemble the Dreamcast version, now in glorious 1080p, with that ugly-ass border wiped away, and it's without a doubt the best way to experience this game present day. I'll be quick with the Advanced Trilogy, because I know someone will call me out if I ignore them. They're exclusively playable on the GBA, and play exactly as they should on the console. Enough said. And same thing for the Rush games. They're DS exclusives, play in there. Sonic Adventure 2 is better in every way on the Nintendo GameCube's Battle version. Well, except for Big the Cat being swapped out of multiplayer for the Dark Chow Walker. Who thought that shit was a good idea? Graphically, there's no debate here. It keeps the same art style, but presents it much more clearly, with slightly higher poly characters, colors that pop more, and cleaner textures. Gameplay, though, feels mostly the same. Both versions maintain 60 FPS throughout, and there's really not much difference performance-wise. I've read that the controls are worse on GameCube, but I've played both versions on their original hardware and can't feel a difference, besides the GameCube controller being peak and the Dreamcast one just being okay. Most people agree the HD port to PC is worse though. Even with widescreen support and a higher resolution, it features more technical issues and is prone to crashes. Yeah, a game from 2001. How is that happening? Mods can once again come to the rescue and potentially make this superior, but it's less set in stone than better SADX. I'd say go with the GameCube version all the way for the most content and sharpest look. Sonic Heroes is even more left behind than the adventure games, thanks to never getting a digital version in any shape or form. It did get a physical PC release along with the home consoles, and if you can track one of those discs down, as well as a computer that still has a disk drive, that's an option, but without mods, it doesn't come close to what the main consoles got. Now yes, that version's been dumped online somewhere, you can download it and go ham with the improvements, but focusing on the big three PS2, GameCube, and Xbox versions, one of these clearly rises above the rest, and it's not because I'm a Nintendo fanboy. The PS2 is the weakest hardware of the three, and is choppy as hell, and the Xbox version is pretty comparable to the GameCube graphically, but has more bugs and an inconsistent frame rate. Since Sonic Team worked with that GameCube hardware previously, it's the smoothest of the bunch, 60 FPS in most situations, and 480p progressive scan support. The GameCube is killing it right now, damn. Like Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog released on the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, but unlike Heroes, there was never a PC version, so you gotta pick one of these consoles. It should come to no surprise, the PS2 version stinks. It runs at like 20 FPS in some parts, and is the most prone to glitches, and the GameCube and Xbox versions are basically a draw. You get slightly better visuals and faster load times on Xbox, but more consistent frame rates and less bugs on the GameCube, so it really comes down to preference. This is my preference. I mean, if you're a Sonic fan, you probably had a GameCube growing up. It was one of the best eras for the Blue Blur, and it had a great way to play almost every game up until that point. You'll love to see it. Sonic 06 released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and you can pick your poison with this one. Either way, you're getting glitches galore, long-ass load times, and a suboptimal experience, but it's generally agreed the 360 is slightly better. It has less slowdown and is more visually sound, but it's marginal at best. This game probably needs a PC version more than any of the others, and while Sega won't do it, passionate fans of this game have done that, and so much more with Project 06. It not only runs better and has smooth 60 FPS support, but they also fixed a ton of the issues within the game itself to bring out the best in this misunderstood title. So much of this experience was loaded with potential, but shrouded in shittiness, and they finally exposed what it could have been with a polished and quality way to play the game. Honestly, Sega needs to hire these guys ASAP and get an official remaster in the works, or a game that plays like it, the true Sonic Adventure 3. Sonic Unleashed is a special case, because there's two completely different games with that same name. The non-HD version, dubbed Sonic Unleashed, came out on the Wii and the PlayStation 2, and they feature entirely unique gameplay and level designs, developed by Dimps, the Sonic Advance guys, and you know, they did a heck of a job here. It's kinda a shame this is overshadowed so hard by the main version. Slap a different skin on this, and it could be the best Sonic game on Wii, just saying. It's really not even fair to compare it to the HD game, so I won't. The best version of this game is the Wii one. The PS2 only got it because so many people had one, and it plays like dog shit. As for the HD version, this released on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and these are nearly identical experiences. They're both just as unoptimized as one another, which is a damn shame. The 360 version is locked at 30 FPS, which helps it remain a more steady experience, while the PS3 is uncapped and can reach 60 FPS at times, like maybe in the hub worlds, but in speedy levels or with dozens of enemies on screen, you ain't seeing more than 10 FPS sometimes. There's also some cutscenes that just aren't in the PS3 version, so if you want the full story, you gotta go with the 360, though it's close. That is unless you picked up an Xbox Series X. With the disc reader and backwards compatibility, you can plug in the 360 version and play the game in glorious 1080p at 60 FPS, thanks to the frame rate boost this new console's equipped with. So over a decade after its release, you can finally appreciate the game as the developers intended. But even more recently, with Unleashed recompiled, they fixed literally everything wrong with the game and give you a perfect and more accessible version on your PC, which is highly commendable. Not official, but if you don't want to buy a $500 console, that's an option. Sonic Colors, of course, got the ultimate treatment back in 2021, and while people love to hate on it because of how broken it was at launch, and I can't really blame them, present day, it's not facing any of those issues, and is an awesome way to play the game. Before this, it was stuck on the Wii in 480p, locked at 30 FPS. That's no way to play a Sonic game, and while Dolphin Emulator could clean it up quite nicely, we're talking official here, and Ultimate does most of what you'd want. We can disregard the Switch version pretty quickly, but after that, things are pretty darn even. It's available on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, so if you've got a super high-end gaming PC, that's the way to go. And for the other two, since they're last-gen games technically, it comes down to whatever console has the better backwards compatibility, and that's the Xbox Series X. Yeah, even the PS5 Pro can't outdo it. It's got more raw power, but caps at 1440p, where the Series X gives you 4K 60 with all the graphical enhancements you could dream of. But if you had to play on PS5 instead, you're not noticing any differences, so don't worry. Sonic Generations received quite a bit of love from Sega last year with Sonic X Shadow Generations, and yes, this is absolutely the superior way to play the Sonic half, with visuals that look 10 times better and the tweaked story with more tolerable characters. Regarding which version is best, again, PC all depends on your build, the Switch version isn't even close, and it boils down to PS5 versus Series X, which give you almost the exact same performance. The Sonic portion runs at 4K 60 FPS through and through, with almost zero hiccups, and the Shadow portion is a bit more demanding, but offers two modes: Quality Mode, which prioritizes 4K and caps FPS at 30, and Performance Mode, which can stabilize around 60 FPS but comes down to 1440p on PS5, while the Series X offers dynamic resolution that can reach up to 1800p, so for that, Microsoft gets the edge once again. Sonic Lost World released on two platforms, the Nintendo Wii U and PC, so obviously the PC version will go as high as your computer allows, but the game was built with a native resolution of 720p in mind, which is lower than even the Wii U runs it at. It aims for 1080p 60, which it doesn't always get, but slowdown isn't nearly the problem it is in games like Unleashed or even Colors. The Wii U version honestly plays great. It was designed with this hardware in mind. You even get some gamepad features that enhance gameplay, and an exclusive multiplayer mode where one player uses the gamepad and the other the TV. It almost feels like SA2 Battles multiplayer, where you race through stages against your friend, and it frickin' rocks, if you can find someone with a pulse that wants to play Sonic Lost World. There's even DLC levels exclusive to this version, featuring both the Legend of Zelda and Yoshi IPs getting their own full 3D stages, and these are awesome extra levels and love letters to their respective series. The PC version has less content, and without mods, even with that higher resolution, it flexes the same 720p base game, so I'm gonna pick the Wii U version here. If you bought one of those things, this is the way to experience the game for sure. Sonic Mania Plus is one of the easiest Sonic games for modern platforms to run, so you can't go wrong with any version. I'm not gonna spend any time on this one. It's a 90s game made for 2017 hardware. Sonic Forces is best played with your eyes closed. It's an awful game, but if you were forced to play it, the PS4 version beats out the Xbox One narrowly. Apparently that version is prone to tearing, and the PS4 is clean through and through. There's also a PC port, and the Sonic Forces Overclocked mod is regarded as the definitive way to play overall, but it can't fix the level designs, so I don't care. Moving on. Sonic Frontiers came to the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Of course, your PC can be the best option, but PS5 and Xbox Series X both offer two modes like Shadow Generations, a performance mode running at 1800p at 60 FPS, and resolution mode, giving you 4K at 30. From what I've heard, they're basically interchangeable, so whichever console you got will be just fine. Just not the Switch version, do yourself a favor. Sonic Superstars is another not too demanding Sonic game. Even the Switch runs it at 60 FPS, in 720p, but still. Both the PS5 and Series X run at 4K 60 FPS, no performance modes or any of that crap. It's an incredibly seamless experience on either platform, so pick your favorite. And with that, you can experience this amazing series at its absolute finest. And I know the Switch is never the definitive way to play Sonic, but if you want to see me rank every Sonic game on the console, check out the video on screen now. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and please have a fantastic rest of your day.